You know that feeling after a great workout? The pump, the energy, it's awesome. But what if I told you that every time you pick up a weight, you're not just building muscle, you're literally building an invisible shield against one of the world's most feared diseases? Well, today we're diving into the incredible science, showing how your strength training is a secret weapon in the fight against cancer. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you, why do you hit the gym? Seriously, think about it. For most of us, right, it's about getting stronger, maybe looking a certain way, or hey, just clearing your head after a crazy day. And that's all great stuff. That's what gets us in the door. But what if all that hard work was doing something way, way more powerful that you didn't even know about? Because while you're focused on grinding out that next set, deep down, your body is activating its own biological armor. It's wild. Every single rep is quietly contributing to this deep, protective process that could literally change the entire course of your future health. And here it is. This is the number that just changes the whole game. A massive meta-analysis. That's where scientists combine the results of a bunch of high-quality studies, found that people who strength train regularly have a 12% lower risk of developing cancer overall. Now, that is not a small number. That is a huge, life-altering advantage that you are building every single time you work out. Okay, so here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We're going to look at the specific cancers your workout fights the hardest. Then we'll build the ultimate evidence-based anti-cancer workout plan. And finally, we'll geek out on the fascinating science of how it all actually works. Let's do this. All right, first things first, let's talk specifics. Which cancers does your hard work in the gym actually have the biggest impact on? Because the research is pretty clear. The protective shield you're building is definitely stronger against some types than others. Let's kick it off with kidney cancer. The evidence here is really solid. One major review found that a high frequency of strength training, we're talking consistent, regular lifting, can slash your risk by an incredible 26%. This is one of the clearest, most significant links that the scientists have found. Okay, you might want to sit down for this one. For bladder cancer, a huge study found that people who did sports, including strength training, for 5 or more hours a week had a, get this, 74% lower risk. I mean, come on. That is a mind-blowing number, and it seems to be an especially strong effect for men. Now, when it comes to breast cancer, this is fascinating. It seems like timing is everything. One study found that women who strength trained when they were younger, specifically between 15 and 24 years old, had a 52% lower risk of getting the disease later in life. It's like building that strong foundation early on creates a protective effect that literally lasts for decades. So to kind of wrap this section up, here's the big picture in one spot. We're seeing really solid, moderate evidence for major risk reduction in kidney, bladder, and breast cancer. For colon cancer, the data is a little more mixed at the moment. And for lung cancer, while there is a small reduction, the evidence is still in its early stages. This really gives us a clear map of where our efforts pay off the most. Okay, so we know it works. The proof is there. But that all leads to the biggest question, right? How do we actually do it? What's the plan? Well, let's bridge that gap from the science to the sweat and build your ultimate anti-cancer workout plan right now. You know, what's great is that the research is surprisingly specific on the how-to. And honestly, it's way simpler than you might think. Step 1, frequency. Just aim for at least 2 strength sessions a week. That's it. Step 2, intensity. The sweet spot is moderate. Think 60 to 80% of your 1 rep max, which for most of us is going to be in that 8 to 12 rep range. And third, duration. Get this. Your total lifting time for the week should be between 30 and 60 minutes. Now, this is a super important point. The research shows what's called a J-shaped curve. The benefits absolutely skyrocket as you go from doing nothing to doing 60 minutes a week. But after that point, they actually start to level off. More isn't always better here, probably because of things like too much stress on the body. The biggest takeaway is this. You do not need to live in the gym to get this incredibly powerful protective benefit. So lifting on its own, it's fantastic. We've established that. But what happens when you combine it with your cardio? Oh man, that's when the real magic happens. You got to think of it like a 1-2 punch against disease. Each type of training works on different pathways in your body, and together they create this amazing, powerful synergistic effect. And just look at this chart. This shows you just how powerful that combo is. Mixing strength with the recommended amount of cardio, that's linked to a 28% lower risk of cancer mortality. But check this out. For people who do high volumes of both, that number leaps to an unbelievable 50% lower risk. That is a massive difference, and it's probably one of the most impactful things you can do for your long-term health, period. So we've covered the what and the how. Now let's get to the really cool part, the why. How in the world does lifting weights actually change our biology to build this incredible anti-cancer defense system? It's pretty amazing. Strength training essentially turns your muscles into this sophisticated disease-fighting factory. It improves how your body handles insulin, which is so important for controlling cell growth. It dials down chronic inflammation, a known driver of cancer. It supercharges your immune system, and it helps regulate key hormones that can influence certain cancers. Let's just focus on that immune function for a second, because this is just the coolest thing. So inside your body, you have these things called natural killer cells, or NK cells. I want you to think of them as your immune system's elite special forces. Their one job is to hunt down and destroy abnormal cells before they can turn into a real problem. And what does strength training do? It actually increases their numbers and makes them better at their job. It's like putting more of these highly trained soldiers on patrol to protect you 24/7. Phew. We have covered a ton of ground, from the big picture stats all the way down to the microscopic soldiers fighting on your behalf. So now, let's bring it all home and lock in your empowered takeaways. Here it is, your game plan, clear and simple. Number 1, lift at least 2 times a week. Number 2, keep that total lifting time in the 30 to 60-minute sweet spot. For maximum effect, go ahead and pair it with your cardio. And maybe most important of all, the next time you're in the gym, remember, every single rep you do has a much, much deeper purpose. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, I want it to be a shift in perspective. You're not just lifting weights. You're not just building muscle or chasing a PR. You are actively, powerfully, and scientifically defending your own future with every single set that you complete. Every rep is a deposit into your long-term health bank. So the only question left is, what victory are you going to claim today? Hey, if you found this valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button, and definitely subscribe for more evidence-based content to help you train smarter and live better. We'll see you in the next one.